have something down there.
Wait a minute. Hold it. You got something here.
How many items are down there, Leonard?
There's two things laying down there.
Is that the whole gravesite?
Yep. Right there, stand.
It'd make them 9 feet. Could be a giant.
The history that we were all taught growing up is wrong. My name is Scott Wolter, and I'm a forensic geologist. There's a hidden history that nobody knows about. There are pyramids, chambers, tombs, inscriptions. They're all over the world. We're going to investigate these artifacts and sites, and we're going to get to the truth. Sometimes history isn't what we've been told. Conventional history holds that the Vikings explored North America as far as Newfoundland in 1000 AD. For decades, people in my home state have believed they went further west, coming here to Minnesota. And not just any Vikings, giants. Hey, Roger, how you doing?
Hey, Scott. Glad to meet you.
Nice to finally meet you. Thanks for inviting me out here.
Well, thanks for coming.
Tell me about the situation.
Well, I was looking for gravel to backfill my my basement wall.
Okay.
Couldn't get to the gravel pit, you know, with the grain fields here. So I decided to find a place myself and dig for it. And I ran into bones, human bones. All in authorities. They came in and determined they were human bones, and they were very old.
Probably Native American, right?
2 were native, but there's something else interesting in this equation. We found one guy in there that his bones were huge, and they even commented that it was unusually large male individual.
Did the state archaeologists come out then?
The state archaeologists got involved, and the dynamic was totally different. They wanted to get this thing buried as fast as possible.
Really? When you talk about big bones and a big, what you think is a big male, this is reminiscent of giants. I have something I want to show you here. It's an article that talks about giants that was published in the St. Paul paper in 1888. And it says, a prehistoric race, 7 gigantic bodies exhumed while digging a well near Clearwater, Minnesota. A race of giants, and they talk about them being 7 to 8 feet tall. Could your guy be that big?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in the same category.
We're in northern Minnesota. You're probably familiar with Viking Norse heritage and the idea that the Norse were here.
Oh, there's no doubt. I've been studying the Norse for years, and what they do and the burial mound system. All this is Norse technology, and I told them that.
Okay, Roger, so where is this mound?
The mounds are just on the other side of the cornfield, right on the edge of the Coon Creek.
Okay, well, I'm anxious to go take a look.
Let's do it. Need your help. And here we are. That's where the big guy is buried.
Right here, okay.
Right there. His feet are about approximately right down here in this area. His head is located way up here by where that stone, that marker is.
Roger, let's measure this. Take that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's about 8 to 9 feet long.
I'd say 8'6".
That's a big guy. Wow. Digging here, you find bones. The state representative for the Native Americans comes out, an anthropologist for the state comes out,
Yeah.
and then what happened? They start digging?
They started doing the archaeological dig. Their eyes got big because this guy's bones, I tore his feet off, and I tore the shoulders and rib cage of 2 of these native girls that were shoved up against his feet.
The anthropologist said these are females,
They
right?
were native, female, they're a little petite, and they're in the fetal position, you know, their hands over their face.
Okay. Did they say that this was a giant, or they thought it could be, or what exactly did they say?
Very, very large male. Well out of the ordinary. There's a lot of these guys around, but kept quiet, I don't know why. But this guy was covered up as fast as they could, too.
So it seemed bizarre to you. There was
Very
something not
bizarre.
right about it.
Very
Okay.
bizarre, yes.
Well, based on everything that I've heard so far, what it sounds like to me is you're suggesting there's a cover-up going on here.
I don't see anywhere why or reason why there is not a cover-up. I mean, it's so obvious that you got an 8-foot guy sitting there.
Roger, you mentioned that the big guy was 8 feet long.
Yep.
How do you know that?
Well, after we covered everything up and quite a while later, curiosity got to me. I had to call in a friend who works the coppers.
The coppers.
Well, it's copper. He's talented with coppers. When you run over bodies, water, or whatever, they'll cross.
Okay, so this is witching, right? Divining
It's
rods?
witching, what you call witching.
Witching is also known as dowsing or divining. Diviners insist they're able to detect underground disturbances through copper rods they hold in their hands. There's really no scientific explanation for how it works, but even Einstein believed that it did. The practice dates back to medieval times when people used to use copper rods to find everything from water to artifacts to bodies.
Found a whole grave from head to toe.
He found that with his rods.
Right. It's a little over 10 feet long.
I'd like to see that. Scott Wolter.
Leonard Engen.
Leonard, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Hey, Leonard.
How did you get into?
Well, my dad could do it, and I was 16 when I started doing it. So, and I'm 70 now, so,
A long time.
yeah.
Well, I have to be honest with you, Leonard. I'm a little bit skeptical. I do know that there are a lot of people that do believe in the rods. In fact, they are used for finding water wells. I know that the oil companies, even Einstein had a theory of how the electromagnetic energy could be channeled through the human body to make the rods cross. But having said that, I have an idea, and if you're up for it, how would you like to do a little test for us?
Sure, I'm game.
I've got a knife about this long. Do you think if I hit it along the grass here that you could find it?
Oh, yeah.
So I want you to turn around.
Okay.
Roger, make sure he doesn't do any peeking. I just want to double check. Are the rods going to be able to catch this knife?
Oh, yes.
No problem?
No problem.
Okay, here we go. Gotta make him a little bit of work for him. Okay, Leonard. Have at it. Good luck.
You hit it in the grass, too, didn't you?
You found it.
Yeah.
Wow. Obviously, there's something here. We've got what appears to be a giant, and if it's a giant, it can't be Native American. It must be somebody else, maybe Norse. And if so, then there should be some other related artifacts. There's got to be something else here. We can't dig here, right?
Absolutely not. No disturbance here whatsoever.
Okay. And I can appreciate that because this is a Native American site for sure. Do we have some other places we could go?
Yeah, we're really limited, you know, in the cornfield and what's going on. We'll have to work in my yard.
Okay. You want to give it a try over there?
Sure.
All right, well, let's go.
Let's do it.
Okay, Roger, lead the way.
All right.
Leonard, do your thing. You got some right here?
You got something here.
Right here? Is this a continuous thing?
Mm-hmm.
Could you run this way, Leonard?
Kind of parallels the old fence.
How many items are down there, Leonard?
There's two things laying down there.
Two different anomalies, huh? Right here?
Yep.
Okay. I'm getting something, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We've got some hot spots here that you said there's something here, right? There are artifacts here. It's okay with you. Could we dig these up?
Yeah. If it's up to me, you can dig as much as you want around here.
Okay. I've got the perfect guy, and he can come by tomorrow. We'll be here bright and early.
That sounds good.
Let me just tell you a little bit about what happened so far. You know, I went out to see Roger, and he's an interesting guy. He took me to these really incredible native mounds, and he had a friend of his, a guy by the name of Leonard, who came out with divining rods and located what they say is a giant in the ground. After that, we went out into his property, and we identified a couple of other interesting locations that they think there's something in the ground that I'd like you to look at.
I have a great interest in pre-Columbian culture contact. You know, the one pre-Columbian culture contact that we know happened for sure was the contact with the Vikings. The one known pre-Columbian Viking site, Lansel Meadows in Newfoundland, that's an incredible distance. In terms of them being here in Minnesota, I'm a little skeptical, and we'll see if there's a giant on Roger's property.
You know, I don't expect you to drink all the pre-Columbian Kool-Aid. You know, take the sips that you want. But you're in Norse country, and there are a lot of Scandinavian immigrants here in Minnesota. And the legends and the stories about the ancient Norse coming to Minnesota are everywhere here. I get calls routinely, people that think they have runic inscriptions or ships that they found, you know, Viking ships. I mean, even the Minnesota Vikings, the pro football team, is due to the lore and the legends.
That's interesting.
It's a big deal in this
It's a big
area.
part of local culture, obviously.
Absolutely, no question. You know, giants may seem like a stretch, but there could be some related artifacts. There's got to be more here, and that's why I felt it was important to look at Roger's site.
And I've learned one thing in archaeology in the last 15 years is that pretty much nothing is impossible.
Hey, Roger, how you doing? Good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
This is my friend Mike.
Hi, Roger. Nice to meet you. Mike Arbuthnot.
Glad to meet you.
This is the archaeologist I was telling you about.
Well, I think you're going to be pretty interested in this site, and I'm glad to have you aboard. Come on.
Please, show me.
Let's do it.
Well, Mike, this is one of the sites that were marked out yesterday by one of Roger's friends, Leonard, who used a technique called water witching, is what he called it. But the copper rods where they walk and then they cross to mark a location. Dowsing.
Sure, yeah, dowsing is a little bit of an unconventional archaeological method, but nowadays archaeologists have a whole arsenal of remote sensing tools that they can use. Out here, if we're looking for Viking or Scandinavian occupation, and I would think that a metal detector would work best here, because that's what's going to set the Vikings apart from the Native Americans. They're going to have iron, they're going to have, they will have left slag, possibly bronze. So we're looking for metals.
What would happen if we found human remains?
Yeah, I gotta call the medical examiner. Depending on how old they are, I might have to bring the state archaeologist out here. We might have to bring a Native American representative. It's like a can of worms that we want to avoid as much as possible.
What do we do next?
Yeah, let me get my tools, the metal detector, the screen, and the pin flags, and we'll set up a grid and start a survey. This is a good spot right here. If I was a Viking, this is where I'd want to camp out. So what I'd like to do is run the metal detector survey. We'll set up a grid. We'll label our transect lines, A, B, C, D, and so on. And I will sweep the metal detector back and forth. And if we get a hit, we'll put a pin flag in the ground, and then that's where we'll dig. Okay, yeah, we're about 20 degrees off north. Perfect. Let's do it. Got one right here. Scott, can you flag that?
About here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got one right there. Roger. Thank you. Here we go. Right there. There we go. Another.
We got a bunch of sites located here. We looked at it with Leonard, and now can you show us what we might want to do here?
These are all magnetic targets. So we don't know what's in the ground yet, and that's what we're going to find out.
Hold on a sec, is that bone? Mike, we got bone here. Pretty sure that's bone.
Yep, it sure is. Oh, wow, and it looks like it's actually potentially been cut.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, there's some marks. Do you know where that came out of in the wall?
On this side here.
I have a hand lens. Should I grab that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. All right. We're only 29 centimeters deep, so I think we're still in the disturbed plow zone.
Well, it definitely has cut marks on it. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I think it's butchered bone.
Yeah.
I think it's a rib. This was somebody's dinner maybe 50 to 100 years ago.
Or maybe longer, possibly?
Or possibly it could be Native American. You could probably figure it out by looking really carefully at these cut marks and determining whether it was made by a metal tool or stone tool.
Sure, sure.
Hey, Scott, come over here.
What's up, Roger?
Well, Scott, we got a lot more evidence up around this area than just here. This lady gave me pictures that her family found.
This is a sword.
Exactly.
Where did this come from?
12 miles south of here.
It was found up here.
Found up here around 1900, a little later.
1900.
Around that area.
Kidding me. Wow. I'm gonna let Mike keep digging, but I've got to check this out first thing in the morning. Most people would look at claims of Viking swords and Norse giants in Minnesota and laugh. But to me, there's more than just legend here. In 2000, I studied an artifact called the Kensington Runestone, which details a voyage to Minnesota by a party of Norse in 1362, more than a century before Columbus. And the geology of the stone proves to me it's genuine. The runestone is what started me on a mission to examine sites and artifacts all around the U.S. that have been dismissed as hoaxes. It's why I want to help Roger Saker, and why I need to get to the bottom of the mysterious sword he showed me a picture of. I'm in the area here looking into the possibility of a Norse presence here back several centuries ago, and spent some time out at Roger Saker's farm. Later in the day, he pulled me aside and showed me some very interesting pictures of an artifact that I understand you know a little something about.
That's correct.
Can you tell me something about this sword?
It was found while they were plowing. Yes, I have it here.
Okay.
Good.
Wow. Heavy.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Right.
Who found it?
It would be Hans Hansen
Okay.
that found it 3 miles west of Uleland, Minnesota, when he was plowing in 1911. He was the first one to plow that land. because he came from Norway.
Okay, so he homesteaded the land. All
Right. When he plowed a little deeper and he heard a noise.
How deep do you think we're talking? Is this a foot, 2 feet in the ground?
I would probably say 6 to 8 inches at the most.
Okay, so relatively shallow. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got a symbol here. I don't know what the heck that is, but it does look very interesting. This is a very unique sword. The style obviously will tell us something about its age. Have you heard anything about that? Anybody's weighed in on the possible age?
That had a resemblance to swords of the 14th century. Copies, an inscription was found on the Uppsala Cathedral, Sweden. The whole sword, very similar to that.
Style-wise, right?
Style-wise, yeah.
Okay. One of the reasons that I'm very interested in this sword, I'm curious about the association or possible association with the Kensington Runestone, which is a 14th century artifact, and this could be related evidence possibly from that Norse party. I do know some people that could help us, and you know, just doing a general examination, sometimes you find things you never expected. So I think we can learn some more about this sword.
Scott, before you go, I know you're interested in all these artifacts, and we have part of a rock that had been blasted. The original owner of that land thought he saw some writing on it.
Writing?
Yeah, one looked like a hooked X or something.
A hooked X.
Yeah.
We have a possible inscription that has a hooked X.
Yeah.
The runestone has the hooked X.
Oh.
Obviously, you can see why that intrigues me. One of the reasons that I'm very interested in is, obviously, I'm curious about the association or possible association with giants, medieval Norse or Viking Age Norse, whoever it might be. There was an inscription on it, and he blasted the rock
Yeah.
for foundation.
He bought it for a foundation stone. He was not interested in the history or whatever, so.
I don't see anything here. So there's either going to be something on the rock or in the foundation. This is great. Well, we've got a sword. Now we have a rock with a possible inscription with a hooked X.
Yep.
Is there any chance we could take a look at this?
Sure, I know where the place is. And
Well, the sooner the better as far as I'm concerned.
yeah.
First, I want to see the source rock for this foundation stone. If this rock you're taking me to has any characteristic marks, it'll help me identify the rock we're looking for in the foundation.
Well, it should be off to the left.
There's a rock down there.
Oh, that must be it.
All right, well, here's your boulder.
And watch out for the sense.
There we go. That is a massive boulder. Look at this. It goes all the way over here. A couple things here. See this flat surface here?
Yeah.
And if you look at a low angle, you can see that there are scratches on it. Those are glacial striations. In the distant past, when this thing was still part of the bedrock, but it wasn't here. It was hundreds of miles up north. There's definitely evidence that this rock was blasted. The other thing is, I know what this rock is now, and it has a very unique step fracture pattern here. So if I'm able to go over to the foundation, I know what rock to look for. And if they carved on the glacial surface, I'll see those striations. Do you think he'd let me go through his foundation and take a look?
Oh, I'm sure he would.
Okay. And what is his name?
Ted Hazelrood.
Hi there.
Hey,
My name is Scott Wolter.
yeah, Ted Hazelrood.
I looked at a stone out in the field here, and I heard that it was blasted to help make a foundation for a house nearby. And
You want to look at her?
I would love to look at it. I take it it's nearby?
Yeah, it's back here.
Okay. How old is this house with the stone foundation?
Boy, I don't know. I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
So it predates you being here, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long time, I suppose.
Oh, holy
I
cow,
suppose.
is this it here?
Yeah,
Well, that's kind of in tough shape there, Ted.
damn right.
I see concrete right here. I think I see some boulders here. God, I would love to rummage around down in there, but I don't think I want to go in there.
I don't think
This
so.
is too dangerous.
Well, they're going to tear it down.
Is this going to happen in the near future?
Yeah, next few days.
Is there a chance you could call me on my cell phone?
Yeah.
Well, that would be great. I would love to get in there and look at those boulders. I mean, who knows what else is in here? I say go for it. Let's tear it down.
Okay.
If I can find a runic carving, like a hooked X, on pieces of the stones used for the abandoned farmhouse foundation at Ted Hasselrud's, I'd be one step closer to proving some of the Norse legends here are true. Depending on what Mike found at the Saker Farm today, Roger's Giant could also be a clue to a larger habitation site of the Vikings. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Scott, good to see you.
And I thought I put in a full day. You guys really went after it.
We have been busy indeed.
So, I know you searched in the spot that Leonard's Dowsing said you'd find something. Well, how'd it go? Did you find anything good? I see some bags over here.
I got some goodies to show you for sure. So here's the site plan. This is every single shovel test that we dug, and we had 54 metallic targets, and 49 of them were positive. So each of those black dots yielded an artifact, a tooth.
A tooth?
Not a human tooth. This is some sort of mammalian tooth, but what it suggests is that there was probably livestock at one point in time, more than likely cattle. We have evidence that there was some horse here as well. This was an interesting shovel test. This produced Native American pottery.
Okay.
There are two areas. Area A, right here, the center of the property in the north end, overlooking the waterway. This is ground zero, right? If you're a Scandinavian or a Norseman, that's where you're gonna drop your tools or whatever materials you might be holding at the time. And then there's Area 2, which is just over there to the east. Now, Area 2 had a concentration of Native American pottery. This entire bag.
Wow.
That's
I was
all
wondering.
pottery.
Oh, wow. Did you find any evidence of a giant?
No giants. However, there's still plenty of good places to dig, and there's plenty of really interesting artifacts to find. Let's do it, let's dig.
All right, sounds good. My search for proof of pre-Columbian Norse or Viking contact with Minnesota is ongoing. I've got an active dig looking for evidence of Norse giants at the Saker Farm and a sword I need to get in front of a medieval weapons expert I know. Now it's time to look for runes carved on the foundation stones of the old farmhouse on Ted Hasselrud's property. A hooked X on one of those rocks could mean the Norse were here. Hey, Ted.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, good to see you again.
Yeah.
Hey, Ted, how's it going?
Got your call? The house is knocked down?
Yeah.
Is now a good time to check out the rocks, the foundation?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Oh, there we go. Well, they got some rocks here, but let's look at the foundation. We know what we're looking for, so a dark gray or sort of a bluish gray rock. I'll look for that step fracturing and maybe a smooth, polished surface. These are glacial fieldstone or glacial boulders. That's not what we're looking for.
Wow.
That didn't work out the way I planned. Here's a broken surface, but that's really not the right rock type either. This is all granite. And I would think the pieces are going to be pretty big. Watch out here. I don't think so. Nope. Okay. That's a basalt. Well, here's a big flat rock.
Flat one there, yeah.
Let's take a peek at this. No, that's not right either. We got this pile we saw when we came in. How about if we check those out? You know what? I see something right from here, Dave.
Oh, really?
There are the step fractures that we saw in the rock. This is our rock for sure. Oh, look over here, perfect. Do you see this flat surface? It's got the glacial striations, just like the...
Just like in the West.
And there again. You know what? I see something.
Ah.
No way. Look at that. There's a line there, and there's a line here. Now, is that man-made? I think we have a couple of man-made characters here. That could be what your friend was talking about. If he saw this, I absolutely believe that's probably what he saw. That looks man-made, and this is sort of a U shape.
Oh.
It's not as regular and clean and obvious as the runestone, but that does look like a man-made mark.
Yeah.
But they don't quite join, I don't think, you know. When they were blasting this, I wonder if they had some tools and they were moving this around.
Oh, that's
maybe
possible.
maybe they scratched it. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? That sure is interesting.
It's something.
Wow. We did the foundation, that pile, this pile. I think maybe we got it. You know, we found a couple of what looked like characters. This is probably what your friend was talking about. We were able to absolutely identify this.
Right.
The story was right. He saw something and we found it.
How's it going? Hey, don't bug you, but Teddy's my neighbor and told me you knew a little bit about runic writing.
I'm Scott Wolter.
Ed Mars.
Ed?
Nice to meet you.
you.
I was wondering if you could give me any information on that.
Those are runes. That's a hooked X. What the heck? What's this doing here? I mean,
Well, I went down to Alexandria and looked at the rune stone and got some ink laid.
so these are Kensington runes. Well, let me see if I can figure it out.
Okay.
All right, that's an E. Now that's a backwards L with a slash, so D, W, well, the hooked X, of course. I better know that one. That's an A, R, that's a D, Edward.
There you go.
Oh.
Edward. No way. That's awesome. You know, Olaf Ullman found the stone.
Yeah.
He found it with his two sons. The younger son was the first one to notice that there was something carved on the stone. Guess what his name was?
I have no clue.
I'm not making this up. Edward.
Really?
Yeah. Well, hey, it was nice to meet you.
Well,
it was
nice
short
to
but
meet you
sweet,
too.
but
Yeah.
hey guys, I think I have something here.
What you got?
What does that look like?
Oh, wow, okay.
I'm not sure what the hell that is.
It's cut bone. It's been worked. There's grooves. That would indicate cutting. Worked bone.
Okay.
It's a dense bone too. So what do you think?
No. Definitely marks on there.
I got another piece here. Is this a
Ooh,
wood
that's
piece?
nice. This was some sort of a bifacial tool, or at least in the process of making a tool or a projectile point, an arrowhead. Yeah. So this is evidence of prehistoric tool manufacture.
Native American, most likely.
Almost certainly.
It's starting to look like a minefield here. At least we gave it a good effort, but Roger, I think we're done digging here, and we found a lot of stuff.
Yeah. You've got a great multi-component site. You've got historic artifacts, you've got prehistoric artifacts, but we didn't find any Norse materials. Let's go.
That's what we're looking for. But thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
You got it. Thank
All right,
you.
Roger.
Appreciate it.
I've seen a lot, but the question remains, was there a giant on Roger Saker's property? Mike and I didn't find any Norse artifacts, but that doesn't mean there was no Norse giant. Before I question the state archaeologists about the cover-up Roger insists he was part of, I need to get to the bottom of the sword Bet Hildy gave me. Hey, Craig. I'm investigating the possibility of ancient Norse, Vikings, and even giants being in Minnesota in the distant past. And Minnesota being my home state, I get calls all the time from people who think they found artifacts or maybe inscriptions.
Yeah.
I have another one here. I was recently in northern Minnesota, and you've got the pictures that I sent of this sword that was found near Ulen, Minnesota by a farmer. So I'm anxious to hear your thoughts.
I'm sad to say it's not a Viking sword. This particular type of sword was produced by a WK & Company in Germany in the late 1800s. They would have produced thousands of these. They also would have sold them to the Ames Company in the United States, who was the largest sword company in the US at that period of time. Sold to the military, to individuals, to organizations, and I actually have pages from the catalogs of both those companies.
When I look at both of these pictures that you show,
Yeah,
I mean, that's a spot-on match right there.
that's that sword.
Yep. Can you show me what a medieval or Norse sword should look like?
Certainly.
Okay.
Yep. Want to hold that for a second?
Sure.
That's what a Viking sword would appear to be in most cases.
Boy, that's light for how big it is.
Viking combat is very much a combat of agility, speed. It is not two guys standing there pounding each other on their shields.
So, Craig, are you surprised that it's modern and not old?
No, I was not surprised. In the course of our studies here in Minnesota, we've seen several instances where people have brought in artifacts, fence finials, axes, the Kensington Runestone, all convinced that it's proof of ancient people prior to them being there.
Well, you know, you bring up the Kensington Runestone, that's something I know a lot about. You did a really good job of pointing out factual evidence and the features of that sword that have convinced me that it's absolutely modern. However, that has not happened with the Kensington Runestone. It's absolutely a genuine medieval artifact and proves that there was a party that came to Minnesota that included Norse back in the middle of the 14th century.
I doubt this artifact is true. An artifact that would exist from that period of time being found documented in a context that is defendable in the kind of academic world, if it were, would make a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, that would be something that would really give us a big conundrum to solve of why these people would have been out here in the middle of nowhere.
Craig, I know you're skeptical about the runestone, but there's still the unanswered question of the bones found at Roger Saker's farm. My next stop is to visit with the state archaeologist, Scott Wolter, who did visit the farm, saw the dig, and should have the answer to that question. So, thanks again. Okay, Scott, I'm gonna cut to the chase. Roger Saker says that he has a Norse giant on his property, and he says you're covering it up. The bone specialist that was out at the site didn't want to talk to me and referred me to you. Roger was very adamant that when they exposed the lower legs of the big guy, that she said that these were the bones of a very large male. As the state archaeologist, what's your response to that?
As for the giant, I can't say for sure. There are some large people in the past, and we've seen giant claims before, but because I didn't see the bones, I can't say if there was a giant there or not. And there's some large Indian people, too. As for the Norse claim, I think I can answer that better. There's absolutely no European artifacts in that mound. We haven't found any on the property. We haven't found any European artifacts in the Red River Valley, in the vicinity of his farm. So I would say there's a 99.99% chance that this person is Indian and not Norse. Whether he's extra large, I can't say for sure.
Are you saying Roger Saker is lying about his claim?
Roger Saker's just claiming this. I think he's sincere in this, that this was a Norse giant. But I have no lines of evidence to say that it is either a giant or certainly Norse. You know, our bones in our body are articulated into joints, all the way from your toe, all the way up to here. Everything is fitting in a socket. When you find bones and you lay them out on a table, you don't fit them back into the socket, you just sort of lay them in their anatomical positions. Well, if you don't fit them back in, then you measure it, whoa, this person was 7 feet tall. very experienced forensic anthropologist who has looked at the bones, has told me that they're 5'3" I think is the tallest. So I wouldn't call that a giant.
Roger Saker is adamant that the Norse came to Minnesota prior to Columbus. And if this was true, this would be a huge story. I mean, absolutely huge. But at this point, I haven't seen anything convincing to me that there's a giant there, but that door is still open a crack. Hey, Roger.
Hey, Scott.
Good to see you again.
Oh, nice to see you. Oh.
Didn't interrupt your dinner, did I?
Oh, just having a little snack here.
Well, I thought I'd stop by and tell you I had a little visit with your friend.
Oh, yeah. Well, it could be interesting.
Yeah, and talked about the site over there, and you said that the bones that she looked at were not a giant. They were from a 5-foot-tall Native American, typical of what he sees all the time.
Well,
So-
you could imagine. So I know what I've seen. I'll take a lie detector's test, hypnosis, whatever you want. I know what I've seen, and he was huge.
I have to say that I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate your passion. I understand that. I feel the same thing. When you know you're right about something,
Yeah.
you stand by your convictions, and you've done that, and I respect you for that. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and thanks for your help and all that, but this isn't right. I mean, these people, they're up to something. I'm gonna keep going, keep doing it.
I can tell you this, I'm not going to give up on my search to try to get to the truth behind all of this stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't find anything else here, but I tell you what, we gave it a hell of a good try, did we not?
Yes, we did.
Promise me one thing.
Yeah.
If you do find a giant, or if you do find a runestone, will you call me right away?
I definitely will.
All right. Roger, I got to go, but thank you again for everything.
Yeah, thanks for all the help.
Go ahead and finish your dinner.
Yeah.
See you later.
Kind of lost my appetite now.
My search for Norse giants in Minnesota allowed me to dive deep into the myths and legends that are woven into the fabric of my home state. For many people here, the question of whether the Vikings made it to Minnesota isn't a question at all. My own research into the origins of the Kensington Runestone has proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that a group of Norse voyagers did make it to Minnesota in 1362. The New World wasn't as new as we've been led to believe.